Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. Welcome back to my channel. So today I want to discuss a little bit of Bitcoin's price targets. Now I prefer a more sustainable approach full of pullbacks because that's healthier growth for Bitcoin, something a little more similar to what we see in like the S&P 500, which is a primary index for the United States. The problem with the parabolic rallies is that there's going to be an inevitable bubble pop, right? Immediately after comes the headline saying things like Bitcoin down 80% since all-time high. And those articles are really just not a good look for the crypto space, and they have a tendency to really scare people away. And I mean, you could definitely make the argument, that Bitcoin has never really had healthy price action. As you can see here, here, all different years, right? 2013, 2014, we've had parabolic kind of reactions to price movement. And honestly, I feel like we hear the term parabolic so often in the crypto space that we've grown really accustomed to it. Bitcoin has absolutely no chill. So let's take a look at what might happen if Bitcoin beats the current resistance levels at the 1.2 Fibonacci level. If we're using this breakout as an example, as the last time we surpassed the 1.2, we go over here. I mean, we're looking at possibly a very similar outbreak here of price movement. Touching on yesterday's video a bit here, if this Bitcoin fractal repeats again from 2017, we're looking at going straight up, as I just kind of showed you, to probably just under $200,000. The multipliers that we've seen in previous rallies show that this is actually the true potential for this bull run. However, if that did happen, we can expect some really major downturns to occur, sub 30K even. Another brutal bear market, probably an 80% bubble pullback, and then another 4 years until the next Bitcoin halving and then the next bull market. And ultimately, I would rather not go through that again, and I'm sure none of you want to go through that again. However, if that doesn't happen though, and we have a slower, more sustainable climb, the NVT tool, or Network Value to Transactions Indicator, is one of the very few relevant Bitcoin indicators that are out there. Now, this was developed by Willy Woo, who is a crypto Twitter analyst. His TA can be hit or miss, like everyone's, obviously, I suppose. But I do think that he has created a valuable tool here in the NVT indicator. It's attempting to look at whether Bitcoin's price is too high, as you can see here indicated by the red, or too low down here, as relative to the value of transactions being conducted on the blockchain based on price on a daily basis. It's a little like the P/E ratio for stocks, or price to earnings, an indicator which attempts to break down the value of a particular stock based on the earnings of that particular company. So a profoundly useful and insightful tool, in my opinion. And if you see here, this is kind of where the price got a little funky. Historically, it's been pretty on par with peaks, right, where it's showing that the transactions or the value is very high. But in 2019, it kind of fell into this area, which it wasn't as accurate. However, the trader that I've been working with has been talking about this discrepancy, told me that back then funding was really heavy to the downside on derivative exchanges, and a lot of people were shorting Bitcoin at the time. And the masses almost always get this wrong. So he himself is actually long at this point, and after that we can see again how this is a pretty accurate indicator. Again, TA is now reading a magic crystal ball, and sometimes things are going to be wrong, but this is a good way to kind of gauge where Bitcoin is at. So this brings us to today's price action. The NVT has never been higher. And what does that mean? Well, a few things. Again, it's up to you how you use this information because I'm not a financial advisor, but personally for me, holding long-term has always been the best strategy. But if someone was taking profits now in preparation to buy a dip, or they are waiting right now for a dip, that's what this indicator seems to suggest would be a reasonable decision. I would also really not be short right now. The trend is your friend until the end, so they say. And this is not a downward trend at the moment. There's still suggestions for a strong uptrend until further notice. So those are my thoughts on today's Bitcoin price action. I still feel that we could definitely run straight up for maybe close to 6 figures. I think it's entirely possible. But I do think that a pullback now maybe would be better than, because it would be more sustainable. But ultimately, it's looking like it's probably going to continue to go up. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. All right, now, so in the news, I found this story and I kind of felt that it was too good not to share. So Bitcoin could hit 146K long-term, crowding out gold, says JP Morgan. A crowding out of gold as an alternative currency implies big upside for Bitcoin over the long term. A convergence in volatilities between Bitcoin and gold is unlikely to happen quickly, and it is in our mind a multi-year process. This implies above so. What I find funny about this is coming from the same company who, in November 18th of 2020, was literally saying, where is it? That in September 2017, Diamond called Bitcoin a fraud worse than tulip bulbs and predicted it isn't going to work. He also said that JP Morgan traders, if they were trading cryptocurrency, then they would fire them in a second. So I think it's very funny how the tables have turned and how quickly people can change their mind. Also, by the way, the internet never forgets. So, all right. So, but back to that article. This implies that above 146,000 theoretical Bitcoin price target should be considered as a long-term target and thus an unsustainable price target for this year. Again, I keep saying this and it sounds crazy. I know, truly, it sounds crazy to me too. That these are super high price predictions, but it's supported both fundamentally and technically. The charts show it's possible. However, their analysts also went on to warn the valuation and position backdrop has become a lot more challenging for Bitcoin at the beginning of the new year. While we cannot exclude the possibility that the current speculative mania will propagate further, pushing the Bitcoin price up toward consensus region of between 50 and 100,000, we believe that such price levels would prove unsustainable. You know, I don't want to toot my own horn here, but it's kind of like they watched my last video. We can definitely get in there, but you know, there really isn't much of a question at this point of that price, in my opinion. But if we flatline vertically all the way up there, yeah, no kidding, it would be unsustainable. At these crazy fast rates of climbing, we will have a harsh correction at some point. It's just a matter of when. But you know, the plus side of at least is that if we continue to flatline up, it's at least fun, right? And I'm still going to be holding most of my coins anyways, so it really doesn't make too much of a difference to me. But if you're doing like day trading and stuff, this stuff is a little bit more important. As an example of exactly why apparently institutions are thrilled that you're selling, OKCoin has an article here saying that institutions are thrilled that you're selling. Over the weekend, as Bitcoin prices hit fresh all-time highs near 34K, markets touched new levels of resistance. Both total crypto market cap and Bitcoin dominance reached 2017 highs of around 800 billion and 73% respectively, he noted. Adding that profit-taking occurred around these levels, resulting in some sideways trading and causing many to be over-leveraged long on futures. We saw 1.4 billion in Bitcoin and 500 million in ETH futures liquidated over the last 24 hours, resulting in a sharp dip to the 29,500 level for Bitcoin. However, these dips are being bought up pretty quickly, reinforcing the narrative that there's underlying bids by institutions keen to access Bitcoin. Again, this is exactly why I wouldn't be shorting into the strength of the market. So, yeah, but that about wraps it up for me today, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all soon.